Memories of your first day in the big leagues and just what it's like to get that call, and how cool is it to give the call now?
Yeah, it's awesome. Getting to hug people now when they're making their debut and try and make them feel welcome and be yourself. I remember when I made my debut, opening day, and so it was all the hoopla with that. And but for CJ, just really excited for him. He's had a great start to his season in the minor leagues, and we know he can help us offensively, and he's versatile on defense, outfield, first base, and he can DH a little bit. So just feel like it gives us another option. And yeah, just really excited for CJ and his family.
How much do you remember of CJ from spring training? And even I don't know if you got to see him last year. All I know is everything's been a blur for you.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't recall much from 24, maybe one or two, but he played quite a bit for us this year, coming up from depth camp, and just seeing him work with our infield coaches and a little bit of outfield. He can hit. I know that the swing's going to play. It's just a matter of getting comfortable, and we're trying to do that for him right away.
What were the reports on how he was doing in the outfield work, like being a natural first baseman, moving out there?
Yeah, I mean, he's holding his own. He's doing a good job out there. I think for CJ, getting him here and seeing that third deck and getting used to that, it can be daunting. It can be a little bit different, but JT McGuire is the best outfield coach in baseball, and if there's anybody that can help him, and I know he's been getting great work in AAA with our group with D-Rob and the guys in Columbus, so with no worries about CJ playing the outfield.
Is there a plan or an ideal in how you want to deploy him? Or
I think you look at the majority of our roster, it's going to be a timeshare with everybody. I think no one's going to play every day. We've got two guys that play every day, and everybody else is going to share time. So it's gonna be complicated, and there's going to be some times where guys are sitting after they get 3 hits, but that's because we play everybody, and it's not how you do today dictates tomorrow. It's I know I've got my work cut out for me to make sure that everybody's getting their fair share of time, but that's how we're built. We're built to have everybody contributing at all times, and I'm just really excited. I feel like this group of 13 is really, really talented and a good mix.
When you made a mistake as a player, how did you want to be coached, or how did you want to be, like, did you want a coach or manager to wait, or would you want someone to speak to you right away? And just how does that play out in how you manage?
It depends on what it is. I think there's times where it's like, go handle this right away, and there's other times where it's like, we'll talk to him after the game, or so it's very specific to the player and the actual event itself.
How did you like or to be dealt with in those situations?
Depended on who the coach was, what our relationship was. Especially as I got older, I knew I made a mistake. I didn't need 8 people to tell me that I did. But when we're young and we're learning, we're going to always talk about it. We're going to talk about it, and also from that mistake, what other areas can we think about where we can apply what happened to get out ahead of the next one? And I think that's really what we try to do as a coaching staff.
With all the challenges that you faced a year ago with the bullpen and innings, has it been any, I don't want to say easier, but the starters have gone deeper this year on average. I think you're second in baseball to Seattle in innings pitched since the All-Star break. What does that do for you in terms of managing the rest of the group?
I mean, you always want your starters going deep into games. We've talked about it for a year and a half, and our starters have been phenomenal. Getting to the 6th inning is hard to do in the big leagues today. The hitters are so good. It's hard to get big league hitters out 3 times as a starter, and our guys have been doing it phenomenally. So it's helped us save innings. It's helped us not run anybody into the ground. Our starting pitching has stepped up in a huge way, and all the credit goes to those 5 and our pitching group. They have been working extremely hard every single day in between starts, getting better and better, recognizing things. They're getting more experience. My favorite part of last night was Gavin navigating that 4th inning. That inning has gotten away from him a number of times this year, and he didn't allow it to. He put the hammer down and got out of it and ended up turning in 6 shutty, and that speaks to the growth that Gavin and our other starters have made over the course of the year.
Can you talk about the difficulty of hitting behind Jose Ramirez and just knowing that teams rarely are going to really pitch to him, and what it takes? Like, how do you walk a guy through what it's going to be like in dealing with that?
Yeah, it's you can easily put a lot of pressure on yourself, and we've talked to Manzo quite a bit about it. Just go be you. You don't have to be better. You don't have to be more. It's going to happen because he's one of the greatest of all time. I mean, we didn't even talk last night. He's part of one of 17 people in the history of our game to be 275. Like, that's absurd. You sit back and think about the great players that played this game for a long time, and he's only one of 17. He's some kind of special, but it's just go take your at bat, go be you, and relax because the pressure's on the pitcher because they just added another base runner. So go be you.
Do you, as you manage, because we talk about it on air all the time, like, can you steal or not steal knowing Jose? Like, you don't want to leave that base open, but how do you manage knowing, the other team probably is not going to pitch to Jose, especially deeper into the game?
Yeah, I mean, you try to, especially in the extra inning setting, there's really no way to plan for them to put Jose on. They're going to. So you got to play to put yourself in the position to score a run. And, take last night, Kwani bunt him over. We're gonna get at least one shot with one out, and we'll see what happens. So, but credit to Kwani, laid down a perfect bunt, gets on base, and now we got two shots.
Is Cade more made to handle that situation in the 10th inning, starting with a runner on base, just because of the strikeout potential there? You cut it down to you eliminate them playing small ball.
Yeah, the home, when you're the home team in extra innings, it's about punch out. You need punch out, and so Cade having the efficient ninth, you ask him how you feel, and you good to go back out, and it was a quick yes. So Cade's quick to the plate and strikes people out. That's what you need in extra innings, quick to the plate and strikeouts. So he's built for the extra innings.
If you get in a situation going down the stretch, I know this is getting out a little ahead, but if guys need to peel back on innings or something like that from a starting standpoint, would you consider Colby, like, transitioning him as well as he's done in that opener's role twice now, or do you think he's in the perfect spot right now?
I think he's in the perfect role for him. I think it's whatever we need, and that's what he wants. That's all he says, give me the ball, Skip. He doesn't care what the situation is, what the game state. He just wants to pitch. And we haven't gotten there yet as far as the innings with the starters. We're aware of where everybody is and career highs and things like that. So we'll be monitoring that closely, and we feel good about our depth.
Take us through kind of you finding out, and what are the first moves once you learn that you're coming up?
Yeah, so funny thing is I had my one-on-one meeting literally the day before with Tracy in Columbus, and then he called me back into his office the very next day. So I was a little confused. Started off talking about approach, and then he hit me with, do you think it'll still work in the big leagues? Which, didn't take me too long to think about it. I was like, of course. And when it really sunk in was when he said, you think it'll work tomorrow when you're in the lineup and playing in Cleveland? And that was when it really just, everything hit me. It was an unbelievable feeling.
So what do you do? Who do you call first?
I called my dad first because he was driving to Jacksonville to watch the game. I think he was halfway there, and I told him, got to turn around, you're getting a flight to Cleveland. Then next I called my mom, but funny thing is she didn't pick up because she sleeps during the day because she's a nighttime nurse. So I had to call her a couple times to wake her up, and I think she probably sprung out of the bed the fastest she's ever gotten out.
So will they all be here today?
They will, yes.
Where was your dad driving from? Where was he based?
West Palm, so about like 4.5 hours from Jacksonville.
What was his reaction?
I think he had to pull over and let my stepmom start driving, so he was really excited.
Did you think this was a possibility coming into this season, and how difficult can it be sometimes when you get as close as you've been just in AAA to try to not think about that too much?
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely in the back of my mind, but I tried not to think about it. Just think about the things that I can control and where I was at the time, whether I was Akron and then later Columbus.
How's the work in the outfield been, just being a natural first baseman and getting a lot of time out there too?
Yeah, so last year I was playing, once or twice a week out in the outfield, but, getting into this year, I think it jumped up from 3 to 4, and there was a week where I played every game out in the outfield, and I think that's where it really got comfortable for me, just the consistency of playing out there.
Would you find is like the trickiest or biggest learning curve to that, like tracking, throwing, like the part of it?
Yeah, I think mainly, I mean, every field, the dimensions are different. So it's just learning the field. Columbus is a short porch with a tall wall in right field, and every other field, honestly, is different. So it's just getting out there, getting familiar during BP with your surroundings.
How much of a learning curve do you think it'll be now being in major league stadiums? Because Vogt mentioned, the 3 decks and tracking and trying to get used to that.
Yeah, for sure. It was my first time out there, taking fly balls. It was definitely going to be a learning curve. I think I'll get used to it pretty quick, though.
Do you have any favorite athletes that wear number 63? Anyone come to mind?
No idea. Yeah, offensive lineman. No, I have no idea. Actually, a good friend of mine, Andrew Walters, last year wore number 63. That's a good one.
In the last few years, they've had guys come up, and there have been a lot of familiar faces for them in the clubhouse because there were so many young players on the roster. Just any familiar faces, any guys you've been connected with when you first showed up here?
Yeah, for sure. A couple guys did rehab stints in Columbus and Akron, so I knew quite a few of them when I was Lane Thomas, Arias, Rocchio. I mean, a lot of the guys.
What's it like coming up now? Because this team's played pretty well after the 10-game losing streak and pretty much in the thick of a wild card race.
Yeah, I think that's, the goal. My goal is just to come and help win in however way I can. Man, I got in at 3 o'clock in the morning, so early morning, late night, but it took me a little while to fall asleep. I was rolling around, too excited, felt like Christmas.
Did you have flight issues or?
Yeah, a lot of delays. I think storms in Charlotte